What is up, guys? Kevin from the KO Podcast. Today we are with Octavio Ceguera talking about all sports right after this. Once again, I'm Kevin from the KO Podcast, and today we have Octavio Ceguera. Octavio, my man, how are you?
Good, man. It's good to be here. Good to be here back. And I don't know, man. It feels great. Especially if you're a sports fan from Florida right now. I mean, Florida Panthers are killing it. The Miami Heat is trying to bounce back. And it's always a spring training, right? So there's always a reason to feel optimistic about the Miami Marlins so far. But as I said, if you're a Florida sports fan, well, you better get your hopes up with the Tampa Bay Lightning in hockey and also the Tampa Bay Rays in the baseball. So, yeah, it's good to be back.
Medias. Let's start with the first topic, which is the NBA. Who have been the most disappointing teams as of right now?
So far, well, one of them is Miami Heat. I mean, unfortunately, unfortunately, especially because when you reach the finals in the season before, the previous season, you always have the expectations not to repeat because it's not easy to repeat. But of course, there's a high expectations of being a playoff contender. And Miami hasn't been that team so far. So that's gonna be. I think it's gonna be temporary. I think. So we have the NHL season starting in January. I think the NBA is the closest thing to a normality. Well, we're gonna have the baseball season, which is gonna be pretty normal. But what I'm trying to say is that there's still time for the Miami Heat to make the adjustments. But so far, I think I also will say the Denver Nuggets, but they recovered. So they didn't start as dominant as they were before last year, but they recover now. I didn't like the Milwaukee Bucks at the beginning. I would say the Boston Celtics are also struggling, but definitely I would go with Miami, then Boston, and perhaps the Denver. And I just don't want to be unfair with Denver because the thing with the Western Conference is the fact that you have many other teams like the Portland Trail Blazers are number 4 right now, and that's a surprise. But then you have Luka Doncic and the Mavericks are playing great basketball. The Warriors, I think the Warriors are going to even make the playoffs, if you ask me. So it's different. It's different. But in terms of being disappointed, Miami Heat has to be number 1.
Yeah, that's why I had a number 1. Number 2, I had the Raptors. 3, the Wizards, and 4, the Mavericks.
Why the Wizards?
The Wizards, they have Russell Westbrook and John Wall. I mean, Bradley Beal. They're supposed to be in the
Yeah.
playoffs at least, or in the race. They're the second worst team in the East.
Well,
Um, not
yeah,
playing.
the way
Yeah.
they're playing is disappointing. But I didn't have any expectations with the Wizards. That's probably what I'm not disappointed at them. But yeah. I
Oh, no,
totally
I didn't see them making the playoffs either. It's just when you look at everyone else's opinion, they're the Wizards are for sure an NBA playoff team. No, I didn't think that from the start. They don't have enough pieces to even win a playoff game.
No, they're not.
And
They're not.
The Mavericks, I did expect to make the playoffs. What they showed against the Clippers in the bubble, it's probably one of those teams where you look at it and maybe they need the bubble. The Heat needed the bubble, and it helped them get to the finals. Yeah, the Heat are disappointing. And coming with the question, do you think that he should make a trade at this point?
No. For what? I mean, it'll be. I don't know. I think it would be risky. But at the end, so I think if they make the trade, they're gonna lose more than they could win.
I mean,
Honestly,
it depends the trade though, because if you're not trying to give up Tyler Hero, because that's what everyone's going to say.
what are you gonna get, and who are you gonna give?
It depends the player again too.
That's the thing. I mean, if you're gonna trade for Bradley Beal, okay, that's a trade you must do. But
yeah.
with Giannis signing a long-term contract with the Bucks, and then I don't think that the Raptors are going to. I mean, even though they said they're going to be hearing offers for Kyle Lowry and other players, either if it's Pascal Siakam, okay, you trade him. But at this point, I don't know. Honestly, I don't think Miami Heat should make a trade because I think they could lose more in comparing to what they could win.
I'm on both sides here because they did make a pretty good trade last season for Iguodala and Jay Crowder. That was a really good trade that actually panned out really well. More for Jay Crowder than Iguodala. They let Jay Crowder walk. The power forwards are not playing good at all. Kelly Olynyk is now starting to heat up just a bit, but I do think maybe you should start considering making a trade for either Myers Leonard, trading him away. He hasn't been good at all. He only played 5 games, got injured for the season.
Is he tradable? Like, is that a player that you think teams will actually be interested in?
Not just that, but you could also maybe trade away a player like Kendrick Nunn. Once Goran Dragic comes back, he's probably not going to play much more.
Well, that's the thing. So I would say test the market, but I don't see Miami Heat unless it's the names you just said. I mean, if you want to trade Bam or Jimmy Butler, those are the type of players at this point that are going to be interesting. Teams will be interesting to trade in for. I don't think players like Kendrick Nunn or maybe Myers Leonard will be attractive to the market. Maybe I don't know in the offseason. But at this point, when teams want to compete, when they want to compete, especially the Lakers are chasing pretty much everyone. And I mean, I don't think the Lakers are going to be interested in a player like those that you mentioned, but they could definitely be interested in a guy like Blake Griffin, which apparently they have approached.
It's kind
so it's going to be interesting. I mean, at this point, Kevin, remember that this is when the teams they start planning either championship or rebuild, and so it's kind of desperate time because the teams want, like I said, the playoff race is getting closer and the gap is getting closer. So I don't know if Miami has that type of player that can convince other teams to make a good trade for the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
They have a team.
They don't have enough pieces either. That's what I think at this point. They don't have enough pieces. Now, who have been the surprising team so far this season? I have 3, but I want to hear yours first.
Well, I like I said, I think Portland has been a surprise. I mean, Portland has surprises me because, yes, Carmelo is playing like vintage Carmelo. Dame Lillard is playing great basketball, great shooting.
He did get snubbed from the starting All-Star, starting 5.
Well, that's true. And the Eastern Conference, even though they're not playing at the level that I thought they could play at the beginning. I love the fact that the Philadelphia was coming back to be relevant. Now, why am I saying Philadelphia is a surprise for me? Because basically the team was a mess last year.
Yeah.
But the 76ers version that we're seeing right now, it's where I could expect to see last year. So I don't know if that will be inside of the surprise category, but definitely they're playing better. They're playing as a contender, and I think it could be a great 7-game series against the Brooklyn Nets. So yeah, I will go with first Portland, then the Philadelphia 76ers, and perhaps perhaps I would put Charlotte there, but no.
No, I have the Spurs. No one expected the Spurs to be where they are for sure.
Yeah, sure.
They're in the playoffs right now. The Knicks. Let's talk about the Knicks. They're playing
Yeah,
really good. Made
they're
the trade for Derrick Rose. And the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't. They're starting to decline though. So
yeah.
and especially now, then they're most likely either going to trade or buy out Andre Drummond.
That's true. That's true. And by the way, I mean, great words from Draymond Green the other day. So
Yeah.
it's a double standard. So yeah, for sure, it's something that is very uncomfortable for the organization, but also for the player. You can expect like you remember Draymond, Andrew Drummond when he came up to the league, he was like the next big thing, like a next David Robinson or David Robertson or something like that, a big man.
Yeah.
And I think there's still potential. He could be a perfect fit for the Lakers if you ask me right now. I mean, the Lakers are playing tall. The Lakers are playing big man game. So yeah, he could be relevant in a very good team so far. And so yeah, it's true what you're saying about the Cavaliers being a surprise, but I think eventually they're gonna catch up with the curse. And by the curse, I mean definitely the fact that I don't see them playing for anything, especially in the playoffs.
And at this point, do you see them trading away Drummond or just buying him out? Because the trade value wasn't too high when he got traded to Cleveland.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of days. I think it's a matter of days when they're going to continue to test the market, and then they will see what's going to be better.
They were discussing a trade with Toronto that could have sent Pascal Siakam to Cleveland, so that shows how high the high value that Cleveland wants back for him.
Yeah. Which basically what I've been told is that they don't want to pretend that they have big money. They want to show they have big money. And so I don't know how can you interpret that. I mean, I don't know what you can get from that, but definitely Cleveland, remember, is going to be if everything goes back to normal, which at this point I wish everything would be like Florida where everything is normal. But what I'm trying to say is that Cleveland is supposed to host the NBA All-Star game next year. So, and Cleveland is not Florida, it's not LA, it's not New York. They need an attractive team in order to convince that they can be relevant. Now, there's not another LeBron James, there's not another superstar, but if you can come with a very consolidated team, and you can keep the core, meaning the players that you've drafted, and also you can get a star, not a superstar, but a star. Well, that could be very realistic, and they have the money for that. I think that's what they meant when they said that they don't want to pretend they have money to get stars. I think that's what they were meaning. Like, okay, we have enough money to build a good team, but it's not going to be a dynasty. So I think all they need is to go back to the playoffs, man. If they get the playoffs after LeBron James left, it's going to be good for Cleveland because I can tell you this for sure. There's a loyal fan base here for sure.
Oh, yeah. All right, so I want to get into MVP picks. Who do you have as of right now as your MVP?
Well, I have LeBron and James Harden, if you ask me, honestly.
James Harden?
I do. I think he is like the unsung hero. It's pretty ironic that we talk about James Harden as a third wheel unsung hero, not relevant. The guy's an MVP. He's a former MVP in the league. And if you give him the ball, he's going to kill you. Offensively, he can score from pretty much from everywhere. I could also put Steph Curry in the conversation because if the Warriors make the playoffs, it will be only because of Steph Curry. And take Steph Curry out of that team, and let's just see what can happen with the Warriors. Yeah, definitely take him out of the team, and that is the concept of MVP to me. It always comes to what is the impact of this player, and how can you see that impact shown in the standings?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you made the playoffs because of the standings. What you do in the standings will determine where are you going to be, whether it's in the postseason or where we watching the games at home. So I think Steph Curry should be in the conversation, but for me, it's LeBron, especially with AD out, and James Harden, because after he came to the Brooklyn Nets, I don't know, maybe even the things that the stats sheet doesn't show, which is basically all the statistics. But maybe when him going to Brooklyn, brought Kyrie Irving's back, and I mean, you got more open shots for KD, And it'll be a little bit of the simple stuff, simple things that you can't see on the statistics side. So yeah, I will go with LeBron, James Harden, and Steph Curry.
Okay, yeah. So I have LeBron. I have Damian Lillard. He's been really good this season.
Okay, yeah.
Joel Embiid, I'm iffy about it.
I had him, but I also wanted to reduce my number to 3, and I have it as 4.
And then I have Jokic and Luka Doncic. Those have been really good players this season.
But what about the performance of the team?
Yeah, that's the thing I was about to say. A lot of the MVPs have been on winning teams in the past few years. So yeah, I mean, I don't see Luka having the biggest chance as of right now unless they all of a sudden make the playoffs.
Yeah. Also, you can also throw the name of the reigning MVP. I think Giannis will always be there, but I don't think
5-game losing streak though. So
yeah.
So now we're gonna name some players that are possibly going to be traded, and I want to know where you think they might go. Starting with Andre Drummond.
Well, if it was for me, it would be the Lakers. But the Toronto possibility that you mentioned, I think it's
that's what happened. Yeah, at Toronto, if not Miami, because I was hearing a little bit of a Miami rumor, but
I don't know.
I don't like the fit next to Bam. The only reason why he's a Hassan Whiteside 2.0 at this point.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, so I don't see him going back. I don't see him going to a team like Miami. Only for like helping out the rebounding situation. That's the only other way.
Which is always going to be helpful when you have shooters like Miami has with Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson. I mean, it's going to be good because you get him the ball back to those guys, to the snipers. But I don't know. I think Cleveland will be asking too much for him, especially if it's Miami.
I would only see Miami getting Drummond if it's a buyout situation.
Probably. Okay, that sounds good. That sounds better.
Yeah. Where do you think Blake Griffin would go?
Lakers.
I have the Lakers or Miami. I'm going to put Miami in this situation because they're trying to come back to compete at this point. They're not getting desperate, but they have to compete. You're playing the Lakers small too, so we have to see how this. That may be one of the defining games because they've lost some really bad teams this season. Sure. Detroit, it's really bad. So at this point, Miami's not desperate, but they need help at the power forward, and I think Blake Griffin would provide some help and maybe even bring it back to the vintage Blake Griffin.
Yeah, well, it might be. I mean, with Goran will be great as a builder, as a constructor of the game, as the offense. With Jimmy Butler, open up the space and free him, Blake Griffin, potentially speaking. I think that'd be good too. Yeah.
And where do you think LaMarcus Aldridge goes?
I don't think he's gonna go anywhere. Honestly, I don't know. Like you said, Spurs they've been relevant. They've been a surprise team. I don't know why trade him. I don't know. But I heard rumors about Utah Jazz.
Oh, the Jazz.
Yeah.
How come though? Because they have their favors too. So.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing. They want to pair him with Rudy Gobert.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I wouldn't touch that team too much though. I wouldn't touch that team at all. They're playing really good.
They do. They are.
So I also have Miami. I'm gonna put Miami in a lot of these. I'm not as biased.
Yeah. But isn't like a wishful thinking here because you're putting Miami pretty much with everybody.
No, and there's a couple I don't have Miami. So I have Kyle Lowry with the Clippers or the Heat too, because it's mainly rumors what you hear.
With the Clippers makes a lot of sense. That's perfect sense actually. With the Clippers makes a lot of sense. The Clippers need
they want to trade Lou Will and Patrick Beverly. They said it too, or they made it too much.
No. But Kyle Lowry will be the perfect fit for the Clippers. You need a guy who can give the ball to Kawhi and also to Paul George. So yeah, I like that I like that deal.
And he has a relationship with Kawhi and Serge Ibaka.
Yeah, for sure.
Zach LaVine, where do you have him going?
Rather than a relevant team, but I don't think the price will be too much. Unless I don't know about the contract situation. I don't know if he's going to be a free agent soon. But
no. He's like on a 2-year deal.
No, definitely. I don't see him going anywhere because the price will be really, really, really high to pay.
The only team I would have him going to, since it's a team that's been monitoring the situation, is the Knicks.
But the Knicks have also been in conversations with other stars. I mean, they got the Derrick Rose, but also they're in the conversation.
They got him for dirt cheap, though. They got him for really dirt cheap. Only Dennis Smith Jr.
No, what I was going to say is also they're in conversations for Blake Griffin as well. So I don't know. You know, when a team has so many names on the table and they're starting to get relevant, and if they want to compete and still playing for something, they might do something.
Yeah.
They want to keep that way.
I don't see Blake Griffin as a good fit with New York. He wouldn't be bad, but I don't see that. I don't see that fit since you have Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson.
especially Robinson. I mean, yeah, Randall. I mean, Julius Randall can still play. Well, Randall wasn't also involved in rumors for Golden State, so
Yeah.
you gotta see what they
I
can
don't see them trading him at this point. It just
I know
depends
the
on
Knicks. I know
Drake.
the Knicks love Andrew Wiggins, so that could be something. But I don't know.
Yeah. And where do you have John Collins going? The power forward from Atlanta.
Yeah, Lena. I had the Phoenix Suns at the beginning because that they need a tall guy, but according to many sources, it's gonna stay because the high price will also be really the trade. I mean, they're asking for too much, and I don't know. I don't know if it's realistically speaking right now, but what teams are going to chase that player? Teams are in contention. And that is where Atlanta is going to get advantage of because okay, you can get it, but this is what I'm going to ask, and
And
especially
Atlanta is in contention too because they have a pretty good team this season.
yeah, they do. But I think at this point they have to evaluate. Okay, what are we going to do with this team, or can we get better? Because they have to get better in order to compete against the Nets or against the 76ers, even the Bucks when the Bucks recover. So yeah.
All right, so we're gonna enter the MLB, and we do have a question. So we're gonna put that first question from Darks Age 9117, which says baseball is starting up soon, and the MLB has guidelines set in place in terms of fans, social distance guidelines, and how the season will play out. I'm worried, however, that some of the large market teams like New York, Los Angeles, Boston, among others, will try to use their power and influence to dictate to baseball and they want instead of what is best for the sport. My question is, do you see any chance this year of something like this happening?
Honestly, they don't
I
dictate too much. That's a misconception. I always go to people saying, okay, yeah, those are big markets, but they don't dictate pretty much anything. Honestly, Dark, with all due respect, the players' association, the union, is extremely strong, and
and they're strict too, really
there's
strict.
no way the teams can make any kind of decisions based on what they could influence on other markets. That doesn't exist. That doesn't apply in baseball. Everything has to go through the Players Association, and that is what you have to. That is where you want to put your focus on. That's what you have to keep chasing. I mean, keep following. Whatever they say, whatever they approve, that's where it's going to be official. And where is out that they're not going to extend and they're not going to have any sort of a agenda or any different than what the union have said to the league so far, and the owners are not going to even try to touch that because they know that they can have another strike. So they're not going to risk anybody here. They're not going to risk any of the rules and the guidelines. So I don't think for like it would be a rare thing to see any of those teams like implementing their agendas, or if you want to call them agendas, or any individual goals. But I don't see that happening.
Yeah, no, I don't see it happening either. I mean, you look at the DH. That's a good example. Teams would have tried to force the DH. Trust me, I would have loved the DH in my career with the Marlins. You might have liked it with whoever, the Mets, the Indians, any team. So that's a good example. And yeah, the MLB is not going to allow that. They're going to just allow a couple, couple thousand fans and church. You really can't see that happening at this point.
And also the thing is, which I think is pretty absurd if you ask me, but because at this point, if you haven't learned how to live with it, it's going to be like I don't know what else. Like what else are we gonna do? And I'm talking about pretty much the panicking level that isn't out there in society. Hey, dude, I mean, get over it. All right? Yes, it's very contagious disease. Yes, of course, you have to take precautions. But guess what? There's also good news. There's also a vaccine coming up. There's also people recovering from it. And these are professional athletes who can recover from that. So it's not like this is the end of the world. Stop living with fear. And I always say that in every podcast and every window that I have, because you cannot live with fear. Having said all that, there's also rules and there's also procedures. And above everything, above any agenda, any big market, there's law. There's a law of every governor in every state. So of course they will not. They're not going to impose anything, and that there will be no negative influence on other markets such as Miami or maybe San Diego or other small markets. Because at the end of the day, this is the situation that it's been controlled by science. It's been controlled by medical staff from each team, but also from the league. and the league always works through the players' union. So yeah, there's no way.
Yeah. What have you been hearing out of spring training?
About what?
Anything, just any news from spring training, any team, doesn't matter.
Oh well, no. So far, I mean, the latest was the fact that Trevor Rosenthal and the Yankees they didn't agree on something that was. We actually talked about that in our podcast in Spanish, La Semana de los Bombarderos. We talked
Yeah,
about. Yeah, the thing is like basically there was no. They weren't convinced. The Yankees were not convinced about some sort of situation with the left foot Trevor Rosenthal. They saw him performing and they thought it was acceptable, but when they checked the medical records, they weren't as sure as other teams were. In this case, the Oakland A's. So there was that they didn't want to move forward. Trevor Rosenthal wanted to play for the Yankees. The Yankees at the beginning were very interested in him, but when they were able to get Justin Wilson and also Jay Bruce, that's when they convinced themselves that they don't want to risk signing Trevor Rosenthal. But I can tell you this: the contract that he had with Oakland A's is just 1 year. So that guy is 30 years old. So I think he will be under the radar of the New York Yankees for maybe next season because, like I said, there was a mutual interest of Rosenthal playing in New York. Also, rather than that, pretty much like not normal, nothing like a major so far injury. Actually, the Yankees got Gio Urshela back. He was practicing today with the team. Robinson Chirinos was practicing today with the team as well. So the new players are adding it up. Jameson Thailand was also there. Corey Kluber looked healthy.
Yeah.
And not just to talk about the Yankees, but I can also say about the Indians. The Indians, they were about to trade Jose Ramirez a couple of weeks ago, but they decided that they can build around Ramirez. And I think they're going to be competitive in the Central Division, if you ask me, because we were going to see Tristan McKenzie now, the young pitcher, in a full season. They have Zach Plesac, which is another very young arm. They have the reigning Cy Young Award, Shane Bieber. So the Indians are not interested to move forward with trades. And I don't know, there's something in the water in Cleveland that they can create good players because honestly, 5 years ago, they went to the World Series with a team that was not supposed to go to the World Series, and they've been ever since. And despite the rumors of Jose Ramirez getting traded, after they trade Lindor and Carlos Carrasco, I don't think they're going to move forward. And speaking of Lindor, there were talks about an extension with the New York Mets, but those talks are like frozen because Lindor doesn't want to talk about it right now. I mean, he's just thinking about baseball and thinking about just have a good season. And I think Lindor knows that he could go to the free agents and there will be a bunch of teams chasing him. So it's not a rush.
All right. And what do you think about talking about the extensions? What do you think about the Tatis one? That was a huge extension.
Yeah, well, I mean, the guy's going to be 36 when the contract expires. So 36 years old, and they already made $340 million. That's
maybe the only other contract he gets in the MLB on most, maybe a 1 or 2 year deal after that, and he retires.
Yeah, probably. It's the same thing with Mike Trout. Mike Trout's going to be 39 when he finishes up the contract that he's currently in. But yeah, it's kind of like I don't know. It's a surprise, but you want to say it's the market. But it's not the market. You see?
Yeah, this isn't the market at all, I think.
No, it isn't. This is not the market. But when you talk about players like Tatis Jr., it's the market because it's like they are in a different platform. Like, and by they I mean Lindor, Soto, Gleyber Torres, maybe Trey Turner, and of course this guy Fernando Tatis Jr. So there's another market in MLB that will never be touched, and that's the market for young superstars. So yeah, I think it's a good deal for him. I don't know if it's for the Padres because man, it's gonna be a horse. Like it's gonna be a horse race there. Like against the Dodgers, there's got Bauer. The Padres got Blake Snell. They have the offense. They have I don't know. It's gonna be really, really good to see that, and I think they're going to repeat as contenders for the NS and National League Championship Series.
Oh, for sure. That those two teams, it's gonna be
Yeah.
those two teams. I don't see Colorado or any other team below them.
No,
Really.
especially with Colorado trading for Nolan Arenado. So definitely not.
Yeah. So now we're gonna list the best free agents available and tell me what's their market right now. What's the situation with them? So the top 7 best free agents available are Jackie Bradley Jr., Mitch Worley, who already signed ahead,
Yeah.
Michael Franco, Cameron Maben, Yasiel Puig, Josh Reddick, and Nick Markakis. What's the free agent waters now? How are they looking?
So all out of those names, besides Moreland, the only one that has been close to a deal was Yasiel Puig with the Yankees, but that deal fell apart. Also, Reddick, I think, is in contact with Oakland A's. No, I'm sorry, San Francisco Giants. Yeah, but I don't know. Rather than the first conversation, which is always over the phone and just to see how the options are, rather than that hasn't happened too much. Jackie Bradley Jr. and the Red Sox actually we're talking about potential reunion, but he's
I'm
also
surprised about that one.
yeah, no, but it's also been approached by the Tampa Bay Rays, so it's gonna be
That would be a really good one too.
yeah, that would be a really good. But it also be I mean, imagine that outfield with him and Kevin Kiermaier just for the few, so it would be great. But I don't know because when the Red Sox trade for Benintendi, the Royals realized that they can actually get another good player, and by that, they either will get a veteran like Reddick, or they might go and chase Jackie Bradley Jr. If you think about the Royals, they're not the same team that won the World Series in 2015, but there's potential there. There's potential.
Oh yeah.
And remember, they play in the Central Division, which is by far the weakest division of all in the American. I mean, not the American League, baseball. And anybody can beat anybody there. So it'll be interesting to see. I think the Royals might knock on the door of Jackie Bradley Jr. as well.
Okay, so what are your World Series favorites as of right now?
Well, I had 3 on the American Leagues and 3 on the National Leagues because I believe that the Cardinals are going to compete. I think the St. Louis Cardinals are going to be tough, even though they don't have the pitching staff. I mean, when you have Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado in your corners, it's going to be scary for the other team, definitely, for sure. I mean, they trade Dexter Fowler, but they have many young kids that could do the work there. And not only that, Jack Flaherty is a potential or perennial Cy Young candidate. You have a leader like Yadier Molina. So, I mean, you cannot overlook the St. Louis Cardinals. Having said that, I will go back with the Padres because not only it's Tatis and Manny Machado and Eric Hosmer, but like we talked about just a few seconds ago, you have not reigning, but former Cy Young Award. You're going to get so much help from the leadership of Manny Machado, but from this core, from Snell, from Clevinger, from Profar in that infield. Yeah, that infield is going to be interesting. And of course, you have the Dodgers because they're the reigning champs, and I don't think. I mean,
that team's incredible.
That team is just
it's on a different level.
It's in a different level. It's in a different level. It's a very compact team, so I don't. There's no weak spot there. In the American League, I have the Yankees, of course, because I believe the Yankees are there is this championship or bust, and it's also championship or bust for many of the veterans, such as Corey Kluber. Corey Kluber wants to prove that he's ready. Corey Kluber wants to prove that he could be still relevant in Major League Baseball, and that makes him a very dangerous player. Such is the case with Jay Bruce. Jay Bruce in Yankee Stadium, he's 33 years old. He's younger than Brett Gardner, who, by the way, of course, you told me.
Yeah,
he signed today. So Jay Bruce in Yankee Stadium can hit easily on that right field, 25 home runs. And if you get that kind of contribution from players like that were not supposed to be relevant, that's going to be really, really good for them. Toronto, I have them, but not as a contender. I have them as a surprising team. I think Toronto is going to be relevant. My second contender will be the Astros because they're getting pieces back. They're getting Justin Verlander back. Although you got to be careful with the Oakland A's in that division. But I will go with the Astros no matter what. And number 3 in the American League, I have the Chicago White Sox.
Awesome.
because I mean the Cuban Sox, they have a lot of potential there.
They brought in Liam Hendricks too,
Yes,
or Kyle
yes.
Hendricks.
Yeah. So that's gonna be a team that you want to watch. They're very fun to watch. They have a lot of potential. They have a singer in Joan Moncada, which is a musician now. By the way, kudos to him and all the best. And yeah, I have the White Sox because I think they're going to be really explosive team, and that's a team that has grown so much over the course of the years, like over the past years. They have developed, they have changed into a potential and a very offensive team. So yeah, I think it's time for them to show the maturity and also how long they can run in a playoff, postseason eventually.
Yeah, so I only have five. I have the Mets, the Yankees, the Padres, the Braves, and the Dodgers. And as a real dark horse contender, maybe the Nationals. If the NL East plays out well, the Nationals have a good team. Josh Bell, you got Kyle Schwarber. You have a really good pitching staff.
Yep.
The catcher's still a little bit, it could be a little bit better. I like that team a lot. And by the way, a little bit of breaking news: Julio Theron signs with the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, that kind of surprising, but I mean, Detroit Tigers are not
a big team though.
Yes, I guess, but I don't see them going to pretty. I mean, I don't see them compete. I'm sorry. I just can't. I have friends there, and I don't want to say anything wrong. But I mean, they're not going to be. I don't think they're competing for something. Honestly, if they make the playoffs, it will be a really, really, really surprise for me.
Who could be the biggest surprise teams this season?
Toronto, because if Toronto has the potential to be a surprising team, if they make the ALCS, if they make it all the way to the American League Championship Series, that's going to be surprising. That's going to be like a story of it. And you know what? They can. They have a
good team. Yeah, they have the team.
And also, not the Braves, but the Mets. Why the Mets would be a surprise? Because if the Mets beat the Dodgers to the World Series, that would be a surprise.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that the Mets are not supposed to be relevant, but I'm saying that they're not as good as the Dodgers. And if that happens, that would be the surprise. Of course, it will be a surprise.
Yeah, so I have the Nationals, the Blue Jays, and I'm just going to say the Marlins to throw them in there because they did it last year. They're not going to do it. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I don't have them making the playoffs at all.
So
they didn't do enough. They didn't do enough.
So, okay, but what would qualify as a surprise?
I mean, I don't think I think the Marlins in this case are better than the Phillies. I will say that right now. Okay. I think they're better than the Phillies. I think if they could put up a fight against the Braves. They've done it. The Mets, they have no chance. And the Nationals, I think they have a decent chance. The Nationals, they get a lot better though.
Yeah.
But that's the only real reason I'll put the Marlins. Their bullpen did improve a lot too.
All right, okay, but in order for the Marlins to be a surprise, what they would have to accomplish? Like 500, playing for 500, that would be a surprise?
That'd be pretty good. I mean, they haven't done it in a while. Well, last season, but last season was only 60 games.
Because you're saying
the playoffs would be great too.
You're saying that the Marlins are not going to make the playoffs, right? So we agree on that. Okay, I agree on that too. Now, to qualify as a surprise, they have to do something relevant. So that's why I'm asking, like,
if they do make the playoffs, I mean, making it probably to the NLCS, not be.
Yeah.
And just
totally.
Yeah.
Okay,
so we're gonna go to
let's go.
My bad.
No, that's fine. I was just going to say that about the Marlins. In order for them to be a surprise, if they can win, or if they can have a winning season,
that'd be pretty good. Yeah,
that's
and especially since it's 162 games, that's the real test.
Yeah, that'd
be pretty good. No, 162. If they get 500 and at least almost crack a wild card spot, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
So we're gonna go into a quick break, and we'll be right back.
All right, guys, welcome to the KO podcast break session, where I will give you a set of instructions and you have to do them. First, I want you to zoom out of the video, tap that subscribe button, the like button, and there is a share button where you will copy the link and share it on your social medias and send it to all your friends. Now, I also want you to go follow Octavio Sequeira on all of his social medias, which have been on the screen this whole time, if you haven't noticed. Also, remember to follow me on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Peace out, guys.
All right, so we are back, and once again, if you're just joining, I'm Kevin Barral. This is Octavio Sequeira, and we're going to be wrap up the MLB with which teams will make the biggest jump make the biggest improvement and which teams will make the biggest decline?
Well, okay, jumper, the Mets, they have to. They have to, for sure. The Cubs, I think well, I'm sorry. No, that's for declining because I think the Cubs are going to be last place in the division. Last place, honestly. And I think that will be a major decline. Sorry for Javi Baez, but because I think he deserves.
And he wants to stay in Chicago. That's the thing.
Yeah, no, it's a Chicago guy. He wants to be the face of the franchise, and I respect that. But with the trade of potentially trade with Chris Bryant and all the pitching staff, and Darvish going out to San Diego. So I don't know. I Drew, what was the team that got John Lester? He signed for another team. What was it? I think the Nationals. Yeah, that's a great signing. So I mean, yeah. So I think I would go with the Mets for sure, number one.
And Arrieta went back to the Cubs too. So I'm a little surprised on that one.
Yeah, but no, for the Cubs, I have it as a decline. I will be that major decline. I think the Royals would be the biggest surprise. Not like in the as a jumper in the American League. I think that the Royals could make a lot of big jump, if you want to put it that way.
So I have the Royals and the Tigers there as a jump. As a fall, I have the Reds. I have the Reds, Phillies, and Orioles.
Yeah, I agree with the Reds too. People are thinking too much about the Reds making a World Series contender. Honestly, I don't see that happen.
Yeah, I don't know why people say World Series contender. They lost Trevor Bauer, the Cy Young winner. If he had gotten back to Cincinnati, I would say they would improve a little bit more.
Yeah.
So now we enter the NFL. Who would be the number one pick? I think it's kind of obvious who should be the number one pick. But who do you think it should be?
No. It got to be Trevor Lawrence. I mean, of course, but hands down. The thing is, like, it's kind of funny because the Jets couldn't even get that. So it's kind of funny.
They make a trade for Deshaun Watson, though, I will say.
Yeah, well, they have to. I mean, otherwise, how can you going to recover? I mean, they have to. But although people were like, okay, so what was the deal 3 years ago when the Jets got Sam Darnold? That was the next big thing. Out of a sudden, you want Trevor Lawrence. So I don't know.
It's not even that Darnold has been bad. It's more of they haven't been able to help him. He's been injured, so he hasn't been able to produce at the full level.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's what I want to see. What are going to be? What's going to be like that for the next year? But yeah, I will agree with you. Trading for Deshaun Watson, they have to be relevant. I thought they were going to be in the mix for Carson Wentz, but no, that did not.
He got traded to the Colts.
He went to the Colts.
Which the Colts gave up absolutely nothing for him. I'm just going to say.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, definitely not. And Trevor Lawrence will be there for sure. And now I think in the top 5. This kid, what's the name? Kyle Pitt. I think it's an attractive.
Oh, he's gonna be good.
Yeah, I think he might get a top 5 pick. I don't know because
top 5 though. I mean, I have him going to Arizona at 16. I think Kyler Murray needs a tight end.
Okay, that's good. But also, let's not forget that the pick number 5 belongs to the Bengals, and so I think might be.
We're gonna be looking for offensive line though.
Yeah, that's true. Well, okay.
Yeah, who has like the bus, the draft bus written all over him? And it's too early to say now, but what do you see?
Not the Jets for sure. I will. You know what, Miami. I think Miami.
No. Like, which player has like draft bus? Like
the players. Oh no, because Miami's been involved like in trades so many times. I mean, Miami.
Yeah.
Like
there's
Miami,
a couple I disagree with. Like
and with Miami with the Dolphins last week, they were even to consider and try to make a trade for the number 1 pick. So it was like really crazy. Now it's kind of like really early because it's different.
Yeah.
AJ Bowie. What's this kid? I know that the 49ers are looking for a tight end as well. I don't know what's going to happen with other players that are already there. But honestly, rather than Trevor Lawrence and of course, Fields from Ohio State.
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields.
Yeah, it's too early, but if I had to say one, it would be Justin Fields, who has the draft bust written over him. All right. Where do you think Deshaun Watson's going to? The Jets? The Panthers, maybe?
I think the Jets, or I think maybe the Eagles. But I'm just dreaming here, even though I'm not a fan of the Eagles. Or let's not forget
the Eagles have Jalen Hurts though, and he's kind of like Deshaun Watson a little bit.
Yep. Let's not forget the New England Patriots.
And I want to say this right now. I do not want Deshaun Watson to be a Miami Dolphin. It would be nice, but I'd rather the Dolphins stick to what they have right now, which was really good last season.
Yeah.
And all the Tua rumors about him being a bust, he was 10-6 with the Dolphins. Even though Fitzpatrick was a huge help, which they should re-sign Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yeah, please don't trade for Deshaun Watson. That would be giving up the whole future almost.
Yeah, definitely. What I was going to say with Deshaun Watson, you cannot rule out the New England Patriots, especially after Bill Belichick has the ego of Bill Belichick got hurt with the greatest of all time winning another championship without him. So,
well, he had a washed up Cam Newton, kind of a washed up Cam Newton.
Well, I don't think he's going to come back.
Cam Newton? Yeah. The only team I could see him going to is the Washington football team.
Probably.
Ron Rivera.
Probably. Yeah, a reunion there.
So I'm gonna name some NFL free agents, and I want to see where you think they're gonna go. Okay. Starting with J.J. Watt.
Cleveland.
Me too. I have Cleveland.
Yeah, I think the Browns.
Allen Robinson.
I heard rumors about him and the Giants, but I think it's gonna go west. It could be Vegas Raiders, it could be Rams, but I think it's gonna go west.
All right, I'm going to the Dolphins. They need a wide receiver. They're desperate for one, but I think the draft could help out the Dolphins with Devonta Smith or Jamar Chase.
Oh, Devonta Smith. I forgot. You see, that's good.
Yeah, Richard Sherman.
A reunion.
I'll play for 2 more seasons. You already said it.
A reunion in Seattle.
Oh, I have that. I have either the Jets or Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Trent Williams.
Let me go. No. I was gonna say Jaguars. No way.
No.
It has to be. You know what? Steelers.
Steelers? All right, I had 49ers.
Okay, that's good too.
Prescott.
That's like the narrative.
With the Cowboys with the franchise tag at this point.
Every off season we talk about is he gonna get paid? Is he not gonna get paid? They paid Ezekiel Elliott. They haven't paid him. You know what? The guy is gonna be a Cowboys for life. Honestly,
yeah.
I think they're gonna pass it over, and this year finally he will get paid.
Justin Simmons, the safety for the Broncos.
Arizona.
I have the Falcons. They need to rebuild that defense.
That's true. Well, so it's Cardinals. So yeah, okay.
Yeah. Chris Godwin.
Definitely Houston. And you know why? Because Because Houston is the kind of team that they're getting rid of everybody, but then they surprises you with those kind of sign. And I heard rumors about him that he likes the Texas market. He would like to try that. Whether a team in Texas can offer what they Houston, there's no other team in Texas to start with. So I think he could go to Houston because of him, by his own desire. That's what I heard, and that's what I read. So I don't know. If I have to pick another team, would be a team that we have full of veterans, whether it's the Buccaneers or even the defending champs. I'm sorry, the former defending champs, the Kansas City Chiefs, because that's another. Yeah, they have a good team, and also that's a good fit for a player like him.
All right. What about Kenny Golladay?
Miami.
Oh my! I would like that one. I'm not gonna lie. I would like it, but I'm either going to the Lions, or if he gets franchise tag, or the Rams because he wants to be with Matthew Stafford.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. No, but I stick with Miami.
No, the Miami's gonna be active. I'll say that they're gonna be trying to. So like last year they got offense through the draft and they did defense through free agency. Yeah. I think they're gonna switch it up. They're gonna do offense in free agency and help out a bit in the later rounds, defense in the draft.
Yeah.
Where do you think Devin White goes?
Don't rule out the Patriots.
Patriots. All right.
Don't rule not, but also okay. Patriots number 1. Tampa Bay.
All right, I have Tampa, if not the Dolphins, because I heard some report about him possibly winding up with the Dolphins.
True. Yeah, true.
Hunter, and the last one is Hunter Henry.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
What about Titans?
That one would not be bad at all. Tannehill gets another target.
They need that, right?
That would be good as well, yeah. Since Delaney Walker, nothing pretty good.
And also even Cleveland, because I don't know the situation with OBJ. There's always been it's a great situation. As I mean, they're saying
but they do have enough tight ends already, though.
That's true, but the thing is that they're using a lot of tight ends as a false wide receivers. They use
okay.
And not only that, you got to remember that David Njoku gets hurt too much.
Yeah.
So
they want to trade him. I'm pretty sure. I'm hearing.
Yeah. So I don't think Njoku's going to come back, honestly, even though he's a fan favorite. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, I wouldn't rule out the Browns in the mix.
Okay. And I have either he goes back to the Chargers, if not the Eagles. The Eagles could be a good fit. Him and Jalen Hurts, and they want to trade Zach. And they want to trade Zach Ertz. He's probably getting traded at this point. They just got rid of Deshaun Jackson today, and be careful. They're probably going to get rid of a lot of those veterans that were on that Super Bowl team in 2017.
Oh yeah, sure.
All right, so now we're going to enter the last two topics, which is the NHL. What do you think about the NHLs right now? I will say the Panthers they're looking pretty good. I think.
Look. The NHL has been relevant because of the Florida teams have been relevant. The Battle of Florida is on fire.
They've all championship teams have been from Florida.
Dude,
either they participated in it or they won it.
But listen, the last series where the Panthers destroyed the Tampa Bay Lightning, it was headlines in the NHL. It was like the main story because you know how much potential there is in Florida as a market. Having those teams fighting for a playoff spot, having the champs from Florida. Tampa Bay became a hockey town. You know that Tampa Bay has more titles, more cups than Calgary Flames, which is a Canadian franchise, a historic franchise. That's something. So the Tampa Bay Lightning has 2 championships, and they've been in the finals 3 times, and that's a non-traditional market. The Florida Panthers made it all the way to the finals in '96, and they haven't been as relevant as that year. But now they have a team that can compete, and they're making headlines after headlines. As a matter of fact, I was checking, and they were defeating the Detroit Red Wings 4-1, and we're talking about just in the first period. The offense of the Panthers, top notch, and they're playing very, very good goaltending. Which, of course, in hockey, in order to be good, you have to have a good goalie. They have 2 good goalies. Even though Bobrovsky is not having his best season, but I think it's going to bounce back. So, yes, when it comes to hockey, I got to go with Florida first. For example, the New York teams has been a mess. The Rangers are like, they won the game last night, but they haven't won anything. They haven't been relevant. The Islanders went to the conference finals, but they lost against Tampa Bay. So, I will go with Florida, Vegas. Vegas has been great, and I think they're going to be. And a Canadian team, Toronto. Toronto is like the team everybody wants to win because it's like the Chicago Cubs. They haven't won a cup since 1967. So, I mean, people are starting thinking like, well, they have to win now. So I think they're due. They're due, and they're going to compete for the championship. Just a quick reminder of how this season is playing. It's been played. So there are 4 divisions instead of 3 because of the pandemic, and the Canadian teams are playing between them in Canada. They're not coming to the U.S., so they're playing there. And so the first 4 teams of each division will make the playoffs, and they will fight against themselves. And then you have like a Final 4, and that will be the finals. So after it will be a Final 4 in June. Yeah, it's kind of like the same schedule of the NBA.
Okay. And finally, to end it off, what do you think? What updates do you have for the MLS?
Well, the MLS is going to be
correct.
Yeah. No, they got an arrangement. I mean, they have an agreement. They have an agreement with the players. They come up to an agreement about the money part. I can tell you firsthand that everything's moving forward. They're going to have fans in the stands, which I think is fantastic. I mean, it's an open arena. It's like baseball. Like it's not basketball or hockey where they're indoor, but I mean, soccer. It's open, and I think having fans there, it's going to continue to improve the soccer culture here. Because let's not forget that next year will be the World Cup, and you have to create a buzz here in the U.S. and this market. The Champions League, the CONCACAF Champions League was this close for an MLS team the time with LAFC. I think the LAFC is again the favorites to win it all. Atlanta is going to try to recover because they were a mess last year. They were a mess. And I think that's going to be very challenging for Miami because they're going to have to fight against a very hungry Atlanta team, such as also as well like Nashville and the New York teams, Red Bulls and NYCFC, are going to be relevant this year. But if you ask me, it hasn't happened in a while now. I think 2012 was the last time. I think the Columbus Crew will repeat as champions, honestly.
They were good last year, I'm pretty sure.
And they're still good. They have the same team and they have a great coach. And honestly, the way they dominate during the playoffs, I think they're the team to beat, if you ask me.
All right, so we are going to wrap it up here. Quick announcements. Tomorrow, we will be with Yiki Quintana at 11.
Spanish tomorrow?
Yeah, in Spanish. And then at 4 p.m., we're going to be with Marlins relief pitcher Anthony Bass, it's going to be a recording, so we will be with him talking about the Marlins this season and his whole career. Remember to like and subscribe. Follow Octavio's links below. We're going to put your son's YouTube channel, which he's been doing an incredible job on.
Thank you.
And yeah, that's where we're going to end it. Let's just quick comments. Matt B, shout out to Matt B, Zach Bunting, Andrew72, Dilly Dog, Andrew, Armando Lopez 04, Margarita Lamino, and Javier Barral. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Thank you.